education, also NGOs and many others are connected to the challenges that we are faced with in deltas. So in fact we came to the conclusion that Delta Alliance may sound as an alliance for a focus, mainly the deltas, but at the same moment we came to the conclusion that deltas is not a real focus. And therefore we said, let us start very small. Let us start only with 4 deltas in the beginning, being Vietnam, California, Indonesia and the Netherlands. Partly because of the content that we find there, partly because of very practical reasons that these were the first 4 to start with. However, after a very small start, we had several other deltas knocking at our door, wanting to be member of Delta Alliance as well. Egypt, Bangladesh, China, Mozambique, Brazil. The European deltas are trying to collect themselves, and even this morning in a workshop they have mentioned that they would like to stick themselves to Delta Alliance as well. New Orleans and even emails from Iraq came to us if from their side also a delta can participate in Delta Alliance. And you will understand that we are very much motivated by having that quick so many deltas in the world that are willing to participate. But our motivation is not only in that enthusiasm. Our motivation is mainly in the challenges and in the positive surprises. The challenges that we have. The airport in San Francisco being only a few centimeters above sea level. The downstream cities like Khulna in Bangladesh that really has a big challenge to overcome the future time. The birds in the Pantanal region in Brazil that really are suffering from a changing climate and a changing flooding pattern. The city planning in New Orleans that of course should be safe against floods, but also must be a green city and a city in which water storage is in a very natural way included. And food production at Kalimantan that is of great potential, but also under threat because of delta problems, or if you like, delta challenges. So the motivation is in the challenges, but the motivation also is in the surprises. In the surprise that coastal deltas are really important, but that inner deltas and rural deltas are also having big importance for the future of us human beings and of other creatures that have to survive. It is Kalimantan, it is the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta in California, it's the Pantanal in Brazil and the Okavango in Botswana, who are the inner deltas that are in a way connected to our alliance. We are surprised also by the fantastic expertise that we see all over the world. And as an example, in Bangladesh, the Institute for Water Modeling really showed to be a very professional partner in modeling research and having not only natural data like temperature, precipitation and water flows, but also social data included in their model in order to really have an integrated strategy to the future for cities in Bangladesh. It is the very professional way in which Vietnam is able to formulate its adaptation policy. It is the Nile Basin Initiative, where a lot of expertise is in the field of international governments and the difficulties to overcome international differences. It was a surprise to us that in China, it was not just the Delta that wanted to participate, but just in China, it was the World Wildlife Fund that turned out to be our partner. And then it is this week that in California, we thought we brought a lot of technical expertise, but the outcome, according to the Californians, and Will Travers will be able to underline that during the discussion that we will have, that it is especially bringing the debate and the discussion more integrated and with more societal aspects in California, and being not only the technical discussion that we probably were thinking to initiate up there. So there is a necessity for continuing the cooperation and to continue the type of discussions that we have here also during the conference, but the motivation is in the challenges that we see worldwide and in the positive surprises that we are collecting in all the deltas that do participate. And all of this, ladies and gentlemen, is not asking for a very heavy Delta Alliance organization. Delta Alliance is willing to be a very light organization, to be a cheap organization as well, to have a strategic focus, to have a high impact, and to have very diverse partners. And we are able to do that in cooperation with Knowledge for Climate, who also gave us the starting up budget, in cooperation with the World Estuary Alliance, who gave me this beautiful tie, by the way, because many people gave me a compliment, but that compliment is for them. Connecting Delta Cities, the American Planning Association, the Dragon Initiative, and there are more initiatives and alliances starting up that we would like to cooperate with and that the starting cooperation is really very fruitful with. What do we organize? We organize symposia, we organize workshops, we organize internet communication. We would like to form a real community, as well physically as virtually. We were happy to also be a partner in the DeltaCompetition together with Royal Haskoning and the Rotterdam Climate Initiative, of which the prize winners will be presented in a few minutes from now. And as a person from the Netherlands, it was very motivating to see Chinese students studying at Harvard University telling how we in the Netherlands should deal with our water problems and delta problems. We would like also to have assessments from our Delta Alliance and to have international expert teams working in our deltas. And in that sense, we are happy with the invitation from Indonesia to have a panel assessing their spatial planning in Jakarta and having a kind of second opinion for them. And of course, we also want to have joint research and demonstration projects, because in the end, we have to talk, we have to communicate, but for sure, we have to act to show that international cooperation is not only talking, but is also bringing physical progress. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what Delta Alliance is wanting to go for, in a flexible way, in a dynamic way, and we are developing also these days. We could learn a lot yesterday and today, and hopefully also tomorrow. We have started, by the way, on beforehand, having a Delta Alliance kickoff before this conference started. And you will get a cartoon that we had to make at that workshop. I think we have 200 copies of that. So if you all sign the declaration, you will get a cartoon that was designed by the Delta Alliance team last Tuesday. And tomorrow afternoon, after this conference is over, we will have a meeting of our advisory board to collect all the lessons learned during this conference and try to further shape the type of organization Delta Alliance is willing to be. And we do that to serve the resilience of deltas worldwide. Because we think that also in the future, the globe needs to have deltas as places where we live with the many people we are, where we work, where we transport, where we recreate, where we have our industrial activities, where we have our food production, but also where nature and biodiversity can develop in a fruitful way. To have the quality of living that we, human beings, but with us all other creatures in the world, deserve. Thank you very much.
Thank you for these heartening and inspiring words, Kees Slingerland, Chairman of the Delta Alliance. Now I would like to give the floor to Cees Veerman, who was Minister of Agriculture, who was the Chairman of the DeltaCommission, and who is a figurehead in everything dealing with water now. Kees.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Tracy. But I prefer wine, to be honest. But you have to wait for some minutes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to present the winners of the Delta Alliance and Royal Haskoning supported climate change competition. And we have 24 papers submitted by students from all over the world, and they are contained in this book. And the students that have won the contest